Cognitive reappraisal is one of the most extensively researched and effective emotional regulation strategies in modern psychology. Rooted in cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, it rests on the premise that emotional reactions are not solely determined by external events, but by the meanings we attach to them. When a situation triggers stress, anxiety, frustration, or self-doubt, our initial thought patterns shape the intensity, direction, and duration of the emotional response. If those thoughts are distorted, biased, or automatic, emotional reactions often follow the same pattern. Cognitive reappraisal provides a structured way to examine those thoughts, challenge their accuracy, and replace them with interpretations that support emotional stability and problem solving. This lecture introduces the theoretical foundations and practical strategies of cognitive reappraisal, focusing on 5 core areas: recognizing cognitive distortions, utilizing hot/cold reframing, applying decentering, practicing constructive worry, and understanding the neuroplasticity that makes cognitive change possible. Students will move beyond theoretical understanding and develop a transferable, evidence-based decision-making process for moment-to-moment emotional regulation. Understanding cognitive distortions. Cognitive distortions are habitual thinking patterns that warp perception. They operate quickly, automatically, and often unconsciously, shaping emotional reactions before we have time to evaluate them. These distortions include patterns such as catastrophizing, emotional reasoning, all-or-nothing thinking, mind reading, and overgeneralization. When left unchallenged, they create rigid emotional patterns: fear that exaggerates risk, frustration that assumes malicious intent, or perfectionism that reframes imperfection as failure. The utility of identifying distortions lies not in labeling thoughts as bad, but in spotlighting the mechanism that escalates emotional reactivity. CBT encourages individuals to externalize their thought patterns, observing them as mental events rather than truths. With this shift, automatic negative thoughts can be analyzed with the same neutrality one would apply to a data set or a business case. A practical tool here is the thought record. In its simplest form, it pairs a triggering event with the emotional response, the automatic thought, the distortion present, and a balanced alternative interpretation. Through repetition, students begin to see which distortions recur and in what contexts, patterns that ultimately reveal the emotional habits driving daily reactions. Hot versus cold cognition, reframing in real time. Hot cognition refers to thinking that occurs in moments of emotional activation. When a nervous system is heightened, thoughts feel urgent, compelling, and intrinsically correct. This is the domain where distortions flourish. Conversely, cold cognition is reflective, logical thinking under calm, physiological conditions. CBT reframing often depends on shifting cognition from hot to cold. The first step is recognizing that immediate thoughts may be valid emotional signals, but not necessarily accurate interpretations. The second is creating a pause, even if only a few seconds, in which the individual can step back and evaluate. Hot/cold reframing may include questions such as, what would I think about this situation if I felt calm? How would I interpret this if someone else described it to me? What evidence supports or contradicts the initial thought? What is the most likely, not worst-case scenario? This framework does not invalidate emotion. Instead, it integrates it with reason. The goal is balance, not emotional suppression, but emotional intelligence applied in the moment. Decentering, changing the relationship with thoughts. Decentering is a complementary CBT approach that shifts the focus from changing the content of thoughts to modifying one's relationship with them. rather than answering every negative thought with a counterargument. Decentering positions thoughts as mental events passing through awareness rather than truths demanding immediate reaction. A decentered mindset includes statements such as, "This is a thought, not a fact." "This is a worry story my mind tells when stressed."